Hello, Malware. This is Southern 207 coming at you with a quick update. As I won't be in town this coming weekend, I'll be working a model train show up in Richmond, Virginia, and potentially doing a NRHS chapter meeting Monday night. So it probably won't be until at least Monday evening, late Monday evening, early Tuesday morning before I can do another update at the earliest. But I've been busy. I've been working on more of the plaster work. I've also picked up a 40-pound, 5-pound bag of 18-pound bag of 45-minute work time plaster, setting time that is. I've also picked up a 20-minute setup from the dump. Bag was still fresh, so why not? But I've been busy on the switches, which, as you can see from this angle here, I've also been in the process of relaying the yard, which you can see how far I'm going to the end of each track. It's going to be busy, but next thing on the agenda is getting all this cleaned up after I get the track finished down at the far end, which I've already got new totes to put stuff in, and possibly start doing some running again, because Lord knows I need it. But the plan is this weekend pick up the remaining parts I need to fix a bunch of my cars, because there's some, like, you can't tell on this one, but microtrain cars have functional doors on them. Well, unfortunately, some of them are missing them, plus these end pieces here where the steps are, that's another piece. Well, I'm going to be working with the guy I'm working with this weekend. Already has the parts on hand, so I can at least get that project knocked out. And that Conrail SD40, so I'm going to be picking up a new chassis for it this weekend. And Cheryl, this is it. Your turnouts are currently sitting right there. Got a box. I got to put them in. Well, all of them in. As I'm going through the whole layout, pulling any switch that's a manufactured one, because the whole thing's going over to these hand lays. Which, as you can see, this one here is so new. I haven't even finished it yet with the guardrails. But as you can see, I left the one rail a little bit long for a reason. Because I'm adding a caboose track right here. It's going to go down here, and it's probably dead end at this point, unless I can figure out how to go around restructuring this, or figuring a way of doing a brace going from this point here to the wall and down. That's one of the major projects that's in the works. That engine house is probably going to end up down there, which that's the next section to get cleared out and organized. Some of the stuff probably go to the dump. But I've also restocked on super glue. I was out of it. One of the things I hate about being on the cheap side, sometimes you have to go a couple weeks without get stuff done. But I've also picked up more paint for the fascia, as well as something I think we all should start doing. That was the screw-up batch. $9 for a premium grade Glidden interior. That's going to be the base terrain for all the rocks there, that blaring white space there. That's what's going to be getting it coated with, is some brown paint. Then I'm going to go back through here and redo all the scenery I coarsely did earlier. This will also be getting ballasted and probably real fine coal dust. Which the funny thing is, I got an unlimited supply of that. Living so close to Norfolk Southern Yard. Now, in several of my previous videos, previous comments on other YouTubers' channels, have been asking me what have I been using for hand laying track. Well, it's quite easy. You have, well, first off, at my situation, I use run-of-the-mill PC board. You can go over to Radio Shack or Hobbytown, or practically any place that sells electronics, sells printed circuit board, double-sided. And I know that piece looks a little beat up, but I've had it for a while. Then, of course, a razor saw to cut. Some kind of what I call lineman's pliers. These work really well for bending the ends of your rail into the little guardrails like that. And of course, everybody's favorite tool, the Dremel, of course. 30-watt soldering iron minimum, and I can't emphasize that enough. Of course, solder, flux, and in my case, for track gauges, which I did some experimenting, I actually ended up making a couple of my own, just out of some sheet brass. The way this works out on these here, I have to shove them down between the rails, and if you look, that's resting against the base of the rail. And the way that works out is perfect gauge-wise. Because as you can see, there's just enough side play for a smooth rolling. And what will be happening, like I said, is all this will start being cleaned off, and I'm going to start working around from that point there where I left off on the siding. And yes, I know I need to get back to cleaning up, but it's that time of the year when this area becomes a catch-all. But the sheet brass I used, I'll have to get back with you guys on the sizes, because I got it in quite a few different thicknesses. That's some of the thickest stuff I've got. But I've got some tubing, a square tube, rectangular tubing, and just soldered it. That's all I did. That and a piece of what they call shim stock. I want to say it's like around 10,000 shim stock, and I think this is like close to about 90,000. But the funny thing is, and this is what a lot of modelers don't know, the track gauge is actually closer to 9 mil still. Well, it's actually closer to 8.2. That's the actual track gauge for N scale in metric. And in case you guys are wondering, I do have some HO track currently. That's real old school Flashman there. 15.7 mil is what HO scales out at. Well, 15.9 mil. So you can see just how much wider HO track is to N-scale. Hence why N-scale rail or track is used in some cases for N-scale HO narrow gauge, which in HO scale, this would actually be 2 foot, well, 2 foot 3 inch. Ironically, same thing, same gauge as a couple American railroads and one little infamous little railroad over in Europe, the Tally-Lin Railway, which is where a lot of the Thomas the Tank stories were based from. Little known fact. In fact, if you go onto the Facebook or YouTube channel, Tally-Lin Railway, they actually have their whole story there on how they started and everything. The whole branch was just getting ready to get abandoned, and the group got together and acquired the whole line, lock, stock, and barrel, cars and engines included. But I told you guys I'd get an update out. I've just been swamped with things. In fact, a lot of my engines still haven't even gotten out of the box. I have picked up, what in the previous video I showed off the haul. I got one car there I gotta get back around to fixing. Which now that I got the super glue, I can fix it. Oh well. Have a good one, Model Railroaders.